It is a beautiful baking Wednesday, Cookie Crusaders. Thank you for coming back for those who have been with me before, and I do apologize if you are more used to the daily upload schedule, but as stated in my previous comment, is that I wanted to make quality videos and not just try to force fluff in order to have a daily video come out. Especially when it comes to Cookie Run Kingdom, when you watch these videos, your time is your value. So getting right into it, we're going to do Season 13 of Cookie Alliance. Special rules, team crit damage 20%, and charge cookies a crit percent of 10%. So, with that in mind, the team that I built that was very, very, very strong was this team to start. So we have critical toppings on our Schwartz cookie with a 22% damage resist and a 50% crit. We have our Purple Yam running almonds of 37.3% damage resistance. We have Wolf running 48.5% crit. If you can get some damage resistance on him, I was able to get all the way through and beat Wave 60 without any damage resistance, and that is because of Cream Unicorn and Carol. But I highly recommend that if you have the chance, try to get some damage resistance on. Preferably at least about 15%. The higher you can go, the better you're going to be. Cream Unicorn, we've got 14.5% damage resistance with a high 23.2% cooldown. Biggest reason we're giving that critical resistance and that damage resistance from Cream Unicorn, so that's super important. And then Carol, 18.7% cooldown with a 12.7% damage resistance. Preferably, you really want a really high damage resistance on Carol if you can. Obviously, procuring those type of toppings can be pretty tough in a lot of situations, but it's going to be your best benefit if you can do so. Now, if you look here at the teams, we also have the Scythe, the Scroll, and the Clock. We have 3 charge cookies on the team. So this main team right here has a lot of critical power, has a lot of oomph from the special rules, and has a lot of healing capabilities between Cream Unicorn and Carol, and we'll show that between the battles. The other teams, standard summoning team, running a lot of these standard toppings that you would expect on summoners. For the third team, we've got a high cooldown Financier, we've got a critical powered Caramel Arrow, critical powered Clotted, critical powered Squid Ink, and a cooldown powered BTS cookie. We are running the Insignia, the Scroll, and the Speed, so that we just get as much damage output as possible from this team when it comes up, which it won't often. Our third team, we're running a specialized high-powered team, where it is majority running either searing cooldown or damage resistance, mostly what you would expect in a lot of cases. And then finally, we have our T-Night team for any last case scenario run issues that you may run into. Now, of course, please do preface that when it comes to these runs, my team will be able to get through a lot more just because of my statue level, my labs, and other various upgrades that I personally have that you may not have if you are a newer or not as long-term player. I have played now since February of 2021, which means I am about 2 months away from a 2-year playtime. So that can make a very, very large difference when it comes to your output results versus my own. However, the team itself that I've built is still an incredibly strong team. Here's why. Schwartz itself does the stuns against the enemy team. Yes, there is a 50% chance, so it's not a guarantee. However, in most cases, you're going to be dealing these stuns because of the attack speed substats that we have on the toppings that we showed. Purple Yam is running the Magic Candy. That is a big, big difference of how Purple Yam's going to run. If you don't have the Magic Candy on Purple Yam and on Werewolf, you are going to be having a little bit more struggle with this team in accordance to what I'm running. Purple Yam's candy gives not only the attack boost and the debuff resistance boost, but in addition, once you get enough stacks, Purple Yam can self-heal and heals very quickly and very large amounts. So for that reason, it works really well with the almonds to survive long enough for the stacks to accumulate and then heal, so that most of the healing from Carol and Cream Unicorn can actually be focused on Werewolf and Schwartz. And it works really well. Now, as you can see, we've hit some boss levels, we've hit some high wave levels, and there is a lot of micromanaging you can do between a lot of these teams to work through this. Honestly, your safest bet is team number 2. Team number 2 is a summoner team, can work for almost any player level. If you're newer, if you're experienced, it can handle a lot of these waves up to about wave 30. And that's because summoners create such a force on the field that unless they have enemies that specifically take the enemy units and the summoned units out, it's not really going to be as effective to take you down in accordance to what you would expect. Now, I will say that this season, though, did specifically run a lot of shielded enemies. It was a consideration to put Dark Cacao in this main team instead of Schwartz, because Schwartz deals the least amount of damage. As you can see, we'll just pause real quick. We've got 22 million from Yam, 23 from Werewolf, Schwartz only at 12. The healing is actually massive from Carol in accordance compared to Cream Unicorn, but Cream Unicorn's critical resistance and that damage resistance is too important to not have Cream Unicorn, so that's the reason why we still have that in there and running. But the main thing is, even though Dark Cacao could have been a great damage dealer and a great shield remover as a good option, the stuns from Schwartz and the high HP really speak well as a good sit-in. But if you do not have Schwartz, or maybe you do not have Schwartz leveled up enough, I would recommend Dark Cacao as the replacement. That would be the best replacement, just because of the shield removal, the nullifications, the debuffs, all those different things that Dark Cacao can do, and Dark Cacao will get that special rules bonus buff, so that's going to be very helpful too. And you're going to want to run critical apple jelly toppings on Dark Cacao if you do end up going that route. Now, as you can see, we're hitting all the waves pretty easily. Yeah, we do take a bit of damage, which is okay. Wave 40 is about the first wave that actually gave me a little bit of trouble, but we're still able to get through it. My Revival Feather did end up getting on the first run used on Werewolf. Likely will again, seeing as Werewolf does not have that damage resistance other than what's being given by Cream Unicorn. And so for that reason, we're just going to let this go as long as we can. We should be able to get to wave 60 like I did in my first run, but let's watch and see if anything else changes. And I say that because there are always chance of criticals. There are always chance of the percentages of Schwartz not activating. There's many different factors that could lead to a potential run that does not go as anticipated, as you may see on this run. So these are all things to keep in consideration. So we're at wave 43 now. The waves do start to get a little bit harder. When I first ran this team, it autoed all the way to wave 55 before I ended up having to switch, but it does have that point where Werewolf does fade out because of the high intense damage battles that we do, where I did almost have to consider switching earlier. So we're going to keep a focus on what's going on. Enemy speed team here, and you would think that they'd be extremely powerful. However, Schwartz dealing those stuns really made a huge difference, and the crit resistance from Cream Unicorn made it so we didn't have to worry too much. Here, yet again, shielded enemies. Dark Cacao would have been really great for removing those, but even still, we're able to push through pretty well. We got the high enemy damage dealers that can deal through multiple waves. Yet again, those stuns from Schwartz really holding very high in regard to how everything's going. You can see yet again, 56, 52 million. Schwartz is still doing great damage. Nothing to laugh at. The self-healing from Purple Yam, pretty big, honestly. Carol doing an amazing job healing. Absolutely amazing. Super clutch. I think, honestly, Carol was a huge clutch for this entire team for a couple reasons. Not only amazing healing, but also that crit percent and crit damage boost in accordance with the special rules as well, making our cookies just super strong. So it looks like this run we actually ended up having to use the feather on Purple Yam, which is okay. This is proof that the team is going to run into some special case instances where the feather might not go to Wolf, maybe it'll go to Yam instead. It could be different each time. That's alright. We should still be able to make a few more waves before we end up having to switch out teams. And honestly, there's not even too much finesse with it. The way I've lined up the teams is pretty much how we're going to switch. So from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. That should be our progress of how we end out our teams here. So, as you can see, some waves repeat with the jelly worm. Mango's going to come up again in the later wave point. And we will switch very soon. We should be able to beat Cream Puff without too many issues. And this is the last wave that we were able to take before we did end up having to switch again. So, 55 waves with the first team. Mango on 56. This was a pretty tough wave, pretty strong, as you can see. Knocking out almost all of our team. That's when we bring in the summoners. Way too many units for them to be able to work with and handle. Their team ends up getting pretty strong because of all the units that come out against us. So we will end up switching momentarily. Caviar doing a really good job taking out most of their units though. And so we're going to put everything out here and just get the power going. It's a tough wave, especially because if you get too many units spawning, you can run into some real damage trouble, as you can see here. So we're going to switch in before we get too annihilated and keep everything going. And honestly, I think I should have cleared this wave a little bit faster because it looks like we're going to be pretty caught up with the enemy units here. Frost Queen and Espresso dealing insane levels of damage though, so super helpful. Preferably this team would have been nice on 59 because of the boss that we're going to be fighting soon, but it looks like we're not going to get that this time. That's okay. First run I did not have a break in the combo streak, so this is just because I'm taking time to explain things and show things too. So really, the biggest issue there was wave 57, because wave 57, I did not get them killed quick enough. So for that reason, we did end up losing the combo streak and the overall run itself. So we're going to go ahead and exit. We'll restart, and I'll show you in practice from wave 57 how to actually take it out without the other two teams. So give me just a moment to collect these really quick. Hopefully we get a legendary, maybe. Nope, just some commons this time. Alright, so map info, wave 57. We'll go wave 56 so that we can start in with our main team, and then we will just switch out to team 4 instead of team 3 on wave 57 to try and kill the mob boss spawner a little bit faster. Alright, so team 4. Get this taken out as quick as possible. Vampire is going to be the big help for that. And of course, between Black Pearl, Frost Queen, and Espresso, you're going to be doing a lot of wave clearance here. So as you can see, this time it's running much better, which means that we should be able to push through to the enemy boss on wave 60 without too much trouble this time. See, a lot less issue that time because we ran team 4. The first time, team 3 worked just fine. Must have been some good lucky crits, to be 100% honest. So, yet again, crits, keep those in mind. You never know how they're going to play effect. So if we did have team 4 go in that first time and took team 3 instead to these waves, let's show you how it's going to pan out for that reason. Because getting wave 59 with this team and team 4, both pretty easy. And then we just switch out to the final team, which should be able to handle. A lot of targets, a lot of enemies though, of course. And then we'll just move on to show you what the wave 50 is. Lucky crits, lucky high attacks, all can make a huge difference. So this is the final team, the Royal Gardener. Works pretty well to take out. Not terribly too hard of a boss. High damage, of course, but still not too bad at all. Main thing to take away, though, is that if you can get really high stats on your werewolf for damage resistance, you can honestly probably push through the majority of wave 56 and wave 57. It's wave 56 that Mango gets caught up taking out the team pretty fast, And unless you want to run a speed team specifically to take out Mango, then you're just going to need some higher damage resistance to make sure Werewolf survives so you can keep that damage train going. But as you can see, I was able to beat Wave 60 the first time with this team lineup, and currently ranked number 390, so there's about 389 people that did it just a little bit better than I did, or a little bit faster. And I'm sure there is other ways to run the team too, but main thing is I'm going to just go ahead and show you real quick what my specific labs and upgrades are so you can kind of compare where you're at. So if we go to cookies, as you can see, I have 9 attack bonus in Alliance, 7 defense, and 6 HP for Alliance. If I get those maxed out, I almost could assure you that I could take that one team all the way to Wave 60 completely, because getting those maxed out probably would give just enough of a boost to get to that point. Maybe, maybe not. But as you can see, attack bonus number 2, almost completely maxed out. Number 1 is completely maxed out. And let's see, HP I think is 2. So we got HP maxed out, attack bonus maxed out, and then attack 2 is almost maxed out. So those are really the big things happening here, is these lab upgrades are making a huge difference. In addition, the guild perks from the levels of the relics help a lot too, but the main thing is these labs are going to be making the biggest difference. Once I get defenses and HPs maxed out, there's absolutely no reason that I couldn't completely go from wave 1 to 60 with that starting team that I showed you all the way through. 100% all the way through. But we're not to that point yet. We're not there yet. It is a good thing to think about, and it's a good thing to keep in mind. Hopefully this video, though, itself was helpful for you guys. I know that Alliance is a pretty powerful and important mode for a lot of people. As you can see, just by my efforts alone, 9,000 gems, 5,000 for the guild for running high. So it's a really good income source if you can do really well. But as always, I really appreciate if you let me know in the comments any thoughts or feelings that you have. Is there a specific team that you're running that you feel is honestly just a little bit better? Maybe, maybe not. I think Carol does a really great job in these main team. She's really proving to be a pretty powerful cookie as far as healing goes, and I'm pretty impressed with her results overall. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.